Hey everybody, Chris here. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my December price prediction for Dogecoin. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when my new videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. November ended with a crash. That's right, overnight we did have a big drop in the crypto prices. We'll be talking about what caused that and where things are going from here for Bitcoin and Dogecoin and the rest of the crypto market as we're into December now. Not the price we wanted, but it's the price we got. So let's get into it. Let me show you the news and the charts. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And we start here with the current Dogecoin price at $13.69. That's right, $13.69 here on December 1st. Overnight, this was the drop we had. Officially ended the month somewhere here in the 14s, and we're now lower starting December. So red October, red November, and so far we're starting December also in the red. This was supposed to be October and Moonvember, and December was supposed to be green as well, as we were looking at the end of a beautiful bull market, bull cycle, and it has done the opposite. Bitcoin also down 86,300. We were starting to look at a red box for Bitcoin over the weekend. We had a 4-day weekend. Things were quiet. We were just saying, you know, things are all quiet going sideways here. What could that lead to? Wasn't expecting such a big drop. But we'll get into why that happened in a little bit. Let's zoom out for a sec and just look at the bigger picture on the daily. The big drop that we had here late October into mid-November started to recover. We were wondering if there was going to be a recovery up in November, and instead the market turned back around. There's still a chance of a relief rally, and the relief rally in a bear market, you would expect to have some movement up before eventually coming back down lower, and we could see that as well happen as we go into 2026. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. We want to concentrate now on what's happening through the rest of the month. If there is indeed a relief rally, do we see prices up in the 20s right now? I am not that optimistic. And I'll talk about this big green arrow in just a little bit. Where do we start? Well, I did predict we were going to have a drop. So that was predicted by the heat map. We'll show that in just a minute as well. And so that was predicted. We would be going down and taking out more leverage longs. That was pretty obvious that was going to happen. And it just went down more than I had thought at the moment. We're back in extreme fear. We had just gotten out of extreme fear and we were like, okay, starting to move up, right? Now we're back to extreme fear sentiment as we begin December. Countries are buying, Sailor is buying, everybody's buying. BlackRock, the banks, then why does Bitcoin price keep falling? Sooner or later, this price action will have consequences. Well, liquidity is thin as hell, and that's right. And with that, you would think, right, all of these great things, Bitcoin hasn't changed. Whatever it is, it hasn't changed. What Dogecoin is hasn't changed as well. But these are assets that are traded. And as they are traded, it goes through the ebbs and flows of trading cycles. And unfortunately, there are gamblers, right? And we look at these heat maps. So here's the Dogecoin one we were looking at, right? And I was predicting we'd be getting down to at least 14.7, maybe 14.5, right? And that's where I was predicting a lot of the long leverage trades. And it just kept dropping lower and lower, swept out all the liquidity. But even now, as you know, Doge is in the mid-13s here, look at all of this starting to form, right? These are more leverage trades. Probably some of these guys who got wiped out, they're making new leverage trades here. And as we take a look at Bitcoin, we see the same thing. Of course, Bitcoin, much larger scale. We'll look at the numbers in a little bit. You know, just huge amounts of numbers, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars wiped out of Bitcoin leverage longs. And now that Bitcoin is down here in the 86s, right? What do we get? We get more leverage. Now these shorts, the shorts are winning right now. And you would think, oh, there's going to be a big short squeeze. We're going to come up here and take all those out. No, there's just no momentum to go up and take those shorts. So the shorts are winning right now. Bitcoin's third weekly close below the 50-week EMA. So we're below the 50-week. 1, 2, 3, we're all below and going lower. That's bear market, guys. And, I called that weeks ago. You guys still don't want to hear it, I know. But Chris is a bear. Still think there could be a relief rally, like I said earlier. But overall, it is still bearish. And that's where we are, right? We managed to bounce off the 100 week, right? So we can do the 100 week all we want right here in the mid 80s. The 200 week is down in the mid 50s. So again, these are lines, right? They represent the trading to date, but there's no getting around how bearish the market is. Even the spot crypto ETFs had a brutal November. We thought the ETFs were going to sort of solidify, like all of these diamond hands, people buying ETFs, and was going to help keep the prices up. Nope. ETF holders, they sell $3.48 billion in outflows for Bitcoin ETFs, $1.42 billion in outflows for ETH ETFs, the largest monthly exit ever, even more than when it started, when ETH was doing bad. Profit taking after Bitcoin's all-time high, that's part of it right now. Looking back into October when Bitcoin was at 125, 126, and all the predictions were like 150, 180, 200. I was even caught up in some of that. I get that. We weren't expecting October to crash. Again, October 10th, I point to that. CZ, Binance, Wintermute, just taking out all that liquidity. We know what they were doing. I talked about that over the past couple months. So profit taking after Bitcoin's all-time high run, year-end institutional rebalancing, not a confidence shift. Well, it is a confidence shift because so many people are calling bear now. And because they're calling bear and the sentiment is still down, fear, extreme fear, it's really tough to get the whole market to turn back around. Like a lot of the so-called influencers, crypto influencers, are still calling. Tom Lee still has all these incredible price predictions. That's because he's got really heavy bags now, and he's just going to have to live with those. So we've got some new altcoin ETFs, XRP, Solana, Litecoin, HBAR, right? There's some inflows into there. Doge's is starting as well. Very slow, but starting. So that helps a little bit, but it can't take care of the market liquidity. Weekend order books were paper thin, right? Especially after 4 days, right? The Thanksgiving weekend, leverage stretched across the entire system. When one macro headline drops, the market collapses. The yen carry shock. Here we go again, Japanese yen, bond yields going up. We're not going to have that free money anymore that so many were using, like taking their money, put it into the Japanese yen, right? And then transfer back. Like all of the money stuff. Like I'm not a total financial person. I don't understand it all to the level that a lot of these guys do, but I think there was a lot more going on. Again, just like we had the Trump tariffs, right? They're China, 100% tariffs, right? And then the whole market dumps and they blame Trump and the tariff thing when it ends up actually being the market makers and the exchanges dumping the price in order to take out the leverage trade. That's more what it's about. Not organic selling, just a cascade of forced liquidations. That's it right there, a cascade of forced liquidations. It's an over-levered market, and we see it just continuing. That's what the crypto market has become. Now we do have, in December, right, FOMC, the US Fed, is meeting again next week, and now it's almost an 88% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut, another rate cut to sort of help things out a little bit, but that's only going to do a little bit. There's so many more bigger things going on. And tonight, I guess Fed Chair Powell is going to have a little speech or something, but it's not till like 8 o'clock tonight, and people are saying, oh, volatility, oh, this is going to be... These speeches never are. He doesn't say anything. He waits till these meetings, so it's going to be next week. But here we go. $600 million liquidated over the past 24 hours. Bitcoin, ETH leading the way. Big dollars. Here's Doge's right there. $10 million in liquidations on Dogecoin alone. And it just continues. And we just watch it continue. There's XRP, ADA, SWI, right? Continuing this morning to take out more leverage trading. What about the returns? October for Bitcoin ended up down 3.6%. November ended up down 17.6%. And here we are in December, already down 4% in just a matter of hours. Already down 4% in December. And many people talking about, well, every time there was a red November, there's going to be a red December. And that's true, but what's happening, right? This cycle is different than any other. So maybe December ends up green and we just do the opposite, right? We do the opposite of what everyone is, but it's already down 4%. How can we get back up? How can we get back up? And we look at ETH and look at ETH. I mean, ETH has even been a red since September, October, November, even worse, and already down 4.8 December. We look at Dogecoin, right? At least Dogecoin was up 8.9% in September, but down 20 in October, 21 in November, already down 6.5 in December. So that's not good for Doge. Starting December, we're already down 6.5%. It takes a lot more just to get back up into the 14s. We're stuck in the 13s right now. So where do we see these price predictions going, right? Is there going to be a relief rally or some kind of relief rally? Everything's bearish, right? Everything's bearish right now. So do you buy Doge now? That's what these guys want. Of course, they want you to buy through them, right? But buy Doge now, bearish. And I'm not touching anything right now. Changely says, look, red, bearish. With probably the middle of the month, some kind of green movement, maybe back up to 16 cents, 17 cents, 18 cents. I am not that bullish. Unless there's a big catalyst we'll talk about in a minute, but I'm not that bullish. But ending December at 16.9 cents, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to be that high. So that's what Changely says. CoinCodex also looking ahead, thinks there's going to be some kind of rally in the middle of December and then dropping down toward the end of the year. I believe that will be the case as well. But they think 13.5 cents, 13.3 cents as the week goes on, pretty much staying in the 13s. Up until December 10th here. That's when we're going to have that volatility with the Fed. And then maybe we start to move up after that to 14s and 15s. That makes sense to me. Moving in the 15s, maybe we have a little Santa rally, right? 16, 17 cents, 16.9 here on Christmas, and then falling back into the 15s. But even if we end the month in the 15s, let's say it's 15.69, right? At the end of the month, that's a green December. That would be a green December. Just at 15 cents. And that's where I think we're going to be. Now, what could change that? What could be different than that? Because you Chris, you're ending December in 15-cent Doge. I mean, yep, that's where we are right now. And we'll take that right now. Now, some of you want even lower, right? You want 12 cents or 10 cents because you want to buy more Doge at lower prices. There's a lot of time for that in a bear market. I don't see that happening right here in December. We just had this big shakeout overnight. That's coming forward. But that's scenario 1, 15-cent Dogecoin. There is a scenario 2, and I've been showing this every live stream. We look at the X Money account, and it still says X Money's launching in 2025. It's still here. This is going to cause Doge to pump. And even though Dogecoin is not going to be here on X when X Money launches, as I've been saying for a year, over a year, but people just say, oh, it won't have Doge. It's gonna... And I agree. I've always said that. It's not going to have Doge. But here, this will still cause Dogecoin to pump, I believe. We saw in 2022, October, Elon bought Twitter. Had nothing to do with Dogecoin. But Dogecoin doubled in price when that happened. And that was a big event. This X Money starting, I think that could do a similar thing for Doge. Probably not quite a double, but maybe a 50% run that gets us back to 20 cents, maybe 22, like in that range. And that would align with this move here now in white up to 21. I was hoping that we would be at a higher price and we might have this big, huge run in Doge, up to 30 cents or so. My magnet is still up here, trying to pull Doge back to 30 cents. It's, when the FOMO kicks in and Doge starts moving on a big event like that, it can raise other cryptos as well, and Doge could lead a bigger recovery. But in the end, maybe the best we can wish for is getting back up to the top of this purple box right around 21 cents before going into December and continuing all of the bearishness that is happening. Unfortunately, that is what we have. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Dogecoin for December 2025 price prediction? Give the video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.